I'm Summer McStravick, and welcome to Money Intuition, where we get to explore the minds and the thinking of some really successful women who've used both their intuition and their know-how to create sustainable, financially abundant, and self-created lives. Most importantly, self-created. So I have as my guest today the wonderful Nan Akasha, and she's going to be sharing her understanding of how to free your money intuition, how to find your inner richness. And one of Nan's beliefs, at least that I know from you, Nan, you're going to tell us all about it, is that we each have a pipeline to kind of a divine flow, to all there is. And we all live in this field of bliss or divinity constantly. So everything we want is already here. And then your job, what you've done in your own life and what you help other people to do, is to access this true connection to wealth and to money and income and pretty much anything that you want, right? So I'm going to ask you not just about your work, but how you got to this work as well. And if you don't mind me starting with some of the life changes that have happened and how you've weathered those and how that's an example of what you teach, especially how to rebuild your wealth all the time. Take it away.
Yes. Well, this could be a 5-week seminar every day for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I'm very blessed to have had a roller coaster life. Mm-hmm. And I say blessed because I truly believe that everything is a gift. Everything is an opportunity. I had a daughter who died, which was one of those roller coaster moments. And what she taught me was to look for the diamond, was exactly what she said. And so I took that very literally. And I don't think that there's anything that happens to anybody. And I know there's going to be, oh no, all the but what abouts. But I really believe that it all has a purpose. And it's not that we're being punished, and it's not that we're wrong or we have to be fixed. It's that we literally block our own good. And it's simply because we are programmed with beliefs that are programmed for struggle. So through my life, I grew up from a Midwestern family, that whole work hard, the harder you work, the better person you are. That's the only time you really got that approval, was you were constantly trying to be the best. So I was definitely a major overachiever. But some of the beliefs that I know now I got from that was, that I'm not good enough. And I need to be different in order to fit in, to belong, to be safe, to be loved. But that you never get to stay there. It's like climb that ladder in 2 seconds of, oh, good for you, and then you're down the bottom again. Right. And that I don't deserve to have that. So what I did was I went off to college and I worked hard, just the way that my dad told me. And I got out and I got into the fashion design industry, and a couple years in, I opened my own business. I had it for 3.5 years. We did great. We did about $1 million in sales the first year. We were in department stores on Fifth Avenue and, all across the country. And it was like one of those intense experiences. I was in my 20s and running this business, putting all the money back into it. And it was the end of the 80s. Everybody went bankrupt. Nobody paid. And I didn't know people didn't pay their bills. So that was like a huge crash. Closing that business, I felt like a personal failure. And I also felt like that I didn't understand people didn't pay their bills. I was told, pay your bills on time and you're a good girl and everything will be fine, work hard. So it was one of those deconstructions of life and belief systems that at the time was incredibly painful, and I felt like a failure and all of that. But it got me on my spiritual path. It got me looking for how do we literally create a reality on purpose. And that's really my question all the time. Well, what's underneath that? What's underneath that? How does your mind work? How do beliefs work? Where do we come from? And I just started to go through 27 years now. I've been doing spiritual work. I used to take people to Egypt and meditate in the pyramids and teach all kind of light body work, and did healing and animal communication. And that was my response to the fashion design business crash. It was, I moved to New Mexico. I got in this whole spiritual world, started to heal, and started working with animals because I didn't want to be around people. And, that led to massive personal growth. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, Jordan. She died shortly after birth. And I had another deconstruction of literally everything that I believed at that point just died away in that moment too. And so I had to start again. Well, what do I believe now? And it's just that every step in life, every one of those things was a huge opportunity for me to up level. But I had to understand how I worked and what those programs were. And so with throughout each and every business that I built, I was very good at building businesses and making a lot of money. But eventually, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later, it all had to go away in some kind of a crash. And the final really big one was I getting a divorce. I did adopt my twin daughters 2 years after my daughter died. And I had a real estate investing company. It was very successful. I loved that business. It pushed me way out of my comfort zone. I had to grow. So I really think business is the biggest spiritual and personal growth path on the planet. That's why I love it. But when I decided to ask for my divorce after 25 years, he wasn't all that happy, and it took about 3.5 years to get divorced. And I went from owning 80 properties, $1 million home, and making about $4 million or so a year to being bankrupt and homeless, and literally not knowing how I was going to pay the bills. And so I rebuilt from that into the business I have now by getting online. Met my beautiful soulmate. But what I had to do was I had to divorce my family. My mom disowned me at that time. It was the first time in my life I literally had no backup, and I didn't know how to pay. I didn't pay my bills on time. So it was another whole level of my self-image of trying to meet what everyone else thought I should be, just crashing, right? Just completely crashing. I was a complete failure at everything. And yet each and every one of those steps made me more self-accepting, more loving, more understanding of how I do create my reality, how our mind works. And in the end, now I have a sense of freedom, both with money and with what I am allowing myself to do and to want, which means I'm stepping into my purpose better. But it took, changing all of those beliefs and those patterns and those attachments to people. So I like to help people build businesses based on their bliss, because I do believe everything you need is already here. And that's what's become my specialty, is being able to help people make a decision on what they want based on truly what they want, expand their awareness into I don't have any idea how to do this, but I'm just going to step out and figure it out because I'm going to believe it's there. Yeah. And it's so much fun that I actually like to throw myself into big challenges as if I haven't had enough. But you realize when you go through that stuff, it's the hero's journey, right? Yeah. And when you come out the other side, the goodies are worth it, right? So you have that sense of peace, or you have that sense of, I remember the moment that, throughout my divorce and everything, when I was just didn't know how I was going to feed my children, and I'd buy potatoes and eggs because it was cheap and it would fill us up, and I'd take a tube of toothpaste and make it last forever by barely using it. It was nuts, and I was so judgmental of myself. And every time I saw money come in or money go out or whatever, oh no, it was this constant drama and all this, emotion in my body. About money. And I remember when I built myself back to where it's okay, I'm pretty much meeting my bills every month, and I was just getting through that, something came along and I looked in the bank account and it had dropped down to practically nothing again. And normally this whole crash would have happened. And I just looked at it and I went, And I walked out on my balcony and I just looked around, and it was like I stepped out and was looking at myself, and I realized I'm not reacting to it at all. I'm completely detached from it. It was data. It didn't mean anything. I had reprogrammed myself to go, oh, okay, that means I better start focusing on how I'm going to get $10,000 in the next 2 days to pay my bills or whatever. Right. And my mind just immediately went to work on, where is it? Mm-hmm. There it is. There it is. Who do I call? What do I do? What can I offer? How can I give more? Just looking for the solution, because I had trained myself. That doesn't mean anything except for here's what you know. And there's whatever you need is all around it already. Now you have to, decide it's there unequivocally and expand out into it. So it's what I call walking on air.
You've been through, I mean, these ups, like up and crash and up and crash and up and crash.
Yeah.
So what I find really interesting about your life and your journey is that you had to really develop, you had to change one mindset into something completely different, where you develop the ability to now, whenever you have a setback, it doesn't set you back. It's like you've gone past, you could lose everything again tomorrow, and you just rebuild it all right after that. I mean, for me, that is true self-empowerment. It's self-creation, and it's self-growth, and it happens to be connected to finances and money and business. And I want to get to something that you wrote about in your copy. So if you don't mind me shifting gears, you wrote about some of the mistakes that people make when they're trying to manifest money and income in their life, some of the top ones. I'm curious what they would be, because you have certainly made probably enough of your own, right? And you'll share with us what they are.
Well, that's why I love to work with people on money and on internal blocks, because I don't think you can build a business. You can have the strategy. It's very important. And it's fun, but then you have to deal with whatever's coming up in the way of you taking action into that, right? So the biggest mistake I see, one, is that people are waiting. They're waiting for it to show up. They're waiting for God or the universe to decide for them, or to tell them it's okay, or they're waiting for their husband to think it's okay, or they're waiting for their parents to agree with them that they're fabulous at that and you should go do it and we believe in you 100%, or there's some form of waiting going on. And especially for women, there's this sense that we don't want to be pushy, and we don't want to be perceived as a bitch, and we don't want to be like, all this, I don't want to be male, I don't want to be masculine, I don't want to push. And so there's this, what I call this poor girl thing that happens, right? You stand in the background, you're waiting. And I literally, kid you not, in the last month or two, I did a strategy session with a woman who told me, I've been waiting for 8 years for God to tell me what my purpose is. And about 3 days before our phone call, someone told her, "Oh, honey, you're not supposed to wait. You're supposed to decide."
Oh.
She said, "So I thought about it for the last few days, and this is what I think." And then that's what we talked about. But can you imagine spending 8 years of your life, probably meditating, probably following certain rules, really thinking she's being the good girl, right? And any day now, I know if I'm just, quiet or sweet or nice or give everything away.
You've totally exemplified, though. 3 days ago, someone put the thought in her head, and then she talks to you. So it's kind of like, as soon as she did make the change and stopped waiting, suddenly stuff started falling in her lap. Like you came in, and now you're probably like, she's probably just cruising.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing. The next thing is awareness. The problem with people knowing about law of attraction is that they think it's the only thing, and they think that they do things with it. You've got to understand a lot more universal laws and put the picture together. And what I prefer is understanding that you just need to become aware of something. You don't have to attract it. You don't have to be a certain thing to suck it to you. Yes, there's certain ways of thinking and certain attitudes, and you want to reprogram your beliefs, and all of that stuff's important. Visualizing, they're tools, right? But all you're actually doing is expanding your awareness to realize it's already there. And so there's, depending on how you've learned your personal growth, your path, you've maybe heard, Abraham Hicks say, you have this escrow, this spiritual escrow or whatever they call it, that's there waiting because you've given, and you haven't really received. Or, you hear, oh, it's right there, but, you feel like, what the hell? So a lot of what I do is talk about how you're looking at a wall and literally taking that follow your bliss quote from, Joseph Campbell. And there's a couple different ways that he says it, but basically he says, when you follow your bliss, which is you listen to what you want within, and you decide it doesn't matter if your mother thinks it's a good idea, or if you were told you weren't good enough to do it, or whatever. If you want to do it, that's your map. You've got to follow that. That is the source of your intuition. That's that connection, that flow with universal knowledge. Everything that you need is already here. You're literally in a field of abundance, I used to call it. Now I call it your bliss field. And when you follow that and you're committed to it and you decide it's there no matter what, right? What happens is doors open where there were walls. So literally where you're going, I don't know how, I don't know where it is, I don't know how to do it. If you shift your perspective from being focused on the problem, I call it going from the problem bubble into the solution bubble, right? You literally step into being a solution seeker. So I teach my clients, we're not problem solvers, we're solution seekers. So we're focusing on the solution and the doors literally appear. Then you have to step through them and move into it. But when you do that, now you're literally walking on air. You're saying, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to take the next step. And that's what's great about running a business. All you're doing is getting into motion with clarity around what you want. And then you talk to somebody and all of a sudden they say, oh, do this, you know? And so when you expand your awareness, but then you have to be able to receive it. And that's the next mistake that most people do is they're giving and giving. And they think that it makes them better some way. You know, how they have to explain how hard they worked and how much they've sacrificed. And we all grew up with this Midwestern puritanical, mindset that said there's something holy about like practically killing yourself, or doing something you don't like. Just making the best of it and all that. It's crap. It's stupid. It's blocking your intuition. It's blocking your fun. It's blocking your flow. It makes your life suck. There's no motivation.
It's true. I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So you've got to get in motion. You have to decide for yourself. And then you have to start to demand that you become aware of it. Well, a lot of people go, well, I can't demand of God or the universe, or it'll be in universal time. Believe me, honey, whatever it is you believe is out there, they're standing there going, it's right there. It's right here, over here, waving their arms like those sign guys on the side of the street. Mm-hmm. And it's just literally at our fingertips. And it's the difference is the decision. You have to make that decision. And it can't be well, I'll try. Because the minute some resistance comes up, which it's going to, because when you decide to change who you are and what you're doing, all of your current beliefs are going to start screaming and yelling and making you sick and, causing all kinds of chaos in your life. And it's supposed to do that. But when you're committed, you expand your awareness. And so what I teach my clients is your foundational mindset needs to be based on the law of polarity. So there's an up, down, hot, cold, male, female, da-da-da. All we know is that's the way that our universe we live in and that we're aware of is created. That means everything's whole, like in yin yang. There's two sides to it. So if you're seeing lack of clients, the clients are right there in the same space. It's part of the whole, the other side of the coin, or however you want to look at it. Yeah. So it's our perspective. If you think about it, we live in a world of lack. I don't watch the news, but I can tell you I know what it says. There's not enough oil. There's not enough blood. There's not enough troops. There's not enough time. There's not enough air. There's not enough money. There's not enough health care. There's whatever. There's never enough. And so we're trained to think that way. You've got to master your mind and your emotions so that in every moment you can say, oh, no, I'm not going to listen to my mom in my head going, who do you think you are? You're getting pretty big for your britches. You're going to say, no, I'm committed to my vision. Where is it? So the law of polarity says that if you have a problem, if you have a question, the answer or the solution is already here. It came together. The one wouldn't exist without the other. Inside the problem is the solution. Every time somebody has a problem, they solve it, and then we get an iPhone, right? And then we get something even better than that. So if we don't have problems, we're going to be bored out of our brains. So inside of them are these amazing solutions. And if you actually train your mind to say, it has to be here, there's no way that you will not reach the solution, find it. And there's multiple solutions. So I teach that, like, if you came home and you were really tired and you parked your car in your garage and you went to bed and you woke up, you can't find your keys, the car's there. You're not going to stop looking for the keys, right? Because they have to be there. You have absolute certainty within you, the keys are here. So you might grumble and bitch about it. You can walk around looking for it. But so what you want to do is walk around with that expectation that the next client you need, the money that you need, the lover you're looking for, the house you really want, whatever it is, it's already there. And so you have to tell your mind, I want you right now to make me aware of it. And I do that by saying, there it is, 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 there it is. Whether I'm looking for a physical thing, whether I'm looking for an idea, an inspiration. Okay, where is my next client? You know what? Oh, I want a VIP day. I know there's somebody out there right now. I want to do one. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Who is it? Where do I go? What do I do? Demand that your mind tell you, because it's already there. And I kid you not, I'm going to write a book of all the things that my clients have done when I teach them this. They literally find, I've had certain people, I've told them you can't leave the room you're standing in, and you have to find your next client. And one lady found a magazine and opened it up and started calling and getting phone numbers for a list of people who'd won an award. Booked a bunch of clients that way. Another lady was looking for money, and she found under a book on a bookshelf, she found a credit card thing that was about 2 years ago from when she moved in, and she was going to throw it away. And she said, "No, wait a minute." She called them up. She wanted $5,000, and they said, "Oh, you have a $5,000 limit."
There you go.
It's like, you know, it just goes on and on and on.
Right.
But it's about how you use your mind. So you have to decide. So stop waiting for someone else to decide, and make a decision, and then support your decision. Don't listen to the poor girl in your head. Evict her and say, "Not now, honey." I have to drive.
I can't believe how fast this interview is going, Nan. I'm already realizing, oh my gosh, I have more questions, but I can only ask like maybe one or two more. I love how I'm pausing because I'm thinking about everything you said. Oh yeah, wait a minute, I've got solutions right in front of me. Let me get back into this interview. You've already mentioned so many of the tools that you use, you know, the law of polarity, the law of attraction. I wanted to ask you about your money, you know, what's a money story, all these other things. I know you use hypnosis. So if there's just one more thing you wanted to add to not just how you teach other people, but I'm assuming all the things you teach other people, like most of us, we also use ourselves. That's why we teach it. You know, that's what helped us create this business or this lifestyle for ourselves. So what is one other thing that you would want to kind of, you know, end things with here? One other technique, one other thing to think about you want to share?
Well, I think I like talking about money. It's the first thing that I work with everybody on. Is look at their money story, their money relationship. That means your beliefs you have, the ones your parents have, the ones that are running your life. Everybody has them, and they're one of the biggest blocks. It's the easiest area to see where your belief system is in money, and it's the funnest place to play with it because you get results that you really like.
Right away.
And so I think around that, I think it's really important if you want to unlock your money intuition. One, you need to understand that you're already rich. Okay? Whatever you need is already here. You were sent here on a fully funded mission. Okay?
I like that. Fully funded mission.
Yeah. And so you've got to think that way. You have to think, okay, I came here with a purpose, with a lot of different things I wanted to do. There's a reason for everything that's happened to me. I'm 100% created it, you know, at some level myself. And how can I find the opportunity? Everything is opportunity, remember, within it, and then move forward with that faith that the people are there, the clients are there, the support is there, the ideas are there, the energy is there, the time is there, whatever you need. You're fully funded. You have the support in any way it is. And really get aware of your money story. Like if you can pin down your top 3 limiting beliefs around money, and you just take a piece of paper, right? Poor girl, poor guy on one side, wealthy woman on the other, draw a line down the middle. This is such a powerful way without doing hypnosis or some kind of process, which is very fast because we can go straight in. But this is really important. Write down the top 3 things that you believe or feel about money. Like currently I have a client who She's got a very successful business, but it's completely disorganized. So we're strategizing it and streamlining it and moving her in a new direction. And we're, creating more consistent recurring income and all that. But she has this interesting issues coming up in her personal life. So she's dating, and the person she's dating is extremely wealthy. They make $4 million a year. They're right now shopping for a $5 million penthouse. They have the house here and the this there. And this is something she's always wanted, and now it's there and it's real. And she's facing all of these issues that are coming up, saying, oh, and it's not coming through her that she's not worthy of it, but it's coming through her in this way. She's feeling contempt for this person she's very much in love with because of the money, even though she believes the person's trustworthy, competent, works hard for it. There's no actual moral issues. Well, that has nothing to do with that person. It's her money story. And she's bumped into something now that is just, it's taking away her focus. It's affecting her. It's affecting every area of her life. And she has to clear that inside of her. That's what I call the poor girl. Okay, the poor girl says, oh, you have no meaning in your life because you're rich. You don't care about people. Well, wait a minute, you really do care about people, and you're a wonderful, parent. So you have these conflicting values. So this makes such a profound difference when you recognize it, because you might be trying to build your business and you're struggling to get a consistent income, or to even to raise your rates, or even to hit, 6 figures. This is where you want to look. Okay. You want to find that story that is not serving you and write the story that will, because when you tap in and you let yourself really want what you want, not based on what anybody else says, okay. At first, you're going to feel guilty like a little kid, right? You're going to find that you're not greedy if you want the money. The money is spiritual. It all comes from the same place. It's an amazing concept that's been created to help us have exponential growth. And you have to allow yourself to have it if you really want to reach people, if you really want to reach your full potential, because you can't do it when you're in struggle. There's no way for you to access that. So just think about how, if you're relaxed, or you're on vacation, or you're laying on the beach or something, and you have no worries about how you're going to pay the rent or something, you can be open to receiving the most amazing inspiration. But you can't do that when you're in survival. So get rid of the money story that's not, the money, the poor girl, the evictor from your head. Write down those beliefs, and then design on the other side, when I'm standing fully in my power, accepting who I am, knowing I'm divinely created, know I'm fully funded. What do I really want, and what would I believe? What would I believe if I knew the solution was there? And you design that belief. And now, I used to have it on my wall over my computer when I first did this, and I transformed all these beliefs. Really, when you're doing sales conversations, like if you have to talk to potential clients, is where this will really come up. Your money story will come up, and their money story's there, and there's a little party going on that's not fun for anybody. So you want to make sure that when you're listening to them, you don't have the poor girl in your head going, oh no, they don't have any money. Don't offer them anything. Give it to them for free. Discount your off. All that conversation that goes on. I would have that up there, and as soon as I'd hear the poor girl, I'd go in and I'd switch, and I'd embody that wealthy woman. Wow. And that's when you're tuned into your intuition.
Now, and I can tell that is one of your true, geniuses, that you can see that stuff in people, and once you see it, help them see a different vision of themselves, see outside their current set of circumstances, and that's so incredibly valuable. I mean, it's part of what, my philosophy in life is. In fact, a commonality. A lot of the really successful women I've been interviewing in the series say, I either was able to do it myself, or I work with somebody who got me to see exactly what you're describing, these possibilities, this perception that I just was impossible to view before, but now that I'm there, I suddenly can do anything. So thank you. I mean, I could tell you've got that. Okay, you also have something else, speaking of getting. Besides the website, I want to give that out, although everybody should be able to see it right there in front of you right now on the screen. But it is nanakasha.com. And you have a free gift that we're going to be giving out to people who are viewing if they want to get a little more from you that they can practice with. Do you want to share what that is?
Yes, I think it's maybe 90 minutes or 70 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
It's an audio. And it's called How to Unlock Your 100K DNA.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've got solid gold DNA. Or
Yeah.
100K.
And it's about how to make 100,000 in a year, a month, a day, or an hour. And so I'd really talk about how you literally can flip your DNA on and off, that we have that control. Again, that's one of the reasons why I feel like people need to master their mind, because we can master our mind, and that's our manifestation tool. Decide what it means, focus, and all that. So I go through how you can do that, and then how to take your beliefs and shift from thinking, wow, 100,000 in a year would be such a big deal, to, collapsing time because it doesn't exist. And once we create time, then that space is there and we have to fill it. Right. So it's really about accessing the way to manifest something. And the thing with money, what's so fun about it is when let's say you hit your 6 figures and now you have that proof and that experience, you have a new set of beliefs. You have to have an experience. And then you can start to go, okay, well, let me play with it. I'm making 8,000 a month now. I want to make 10,000 a month now. How can I do that? It becomes numbers and energy. And how do you give? And then how good are you at receiving? And it becomes this beautiful, fun game you can play. And then as you increase your numbers, it just gives you, it's sort of like it supports you in becoming more and more able to focus in a bigger way. And that capacity that you have for money, love, giving, whatever it is, you grow in such a profound way. So, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think 90 minutes to figure out how to create that continuous upscaling. I thank you. It's wonderful for you to offer it to us and for you to share your time with us. And just disclaimer, Nan's a good friend of mine now. So of course I'm so happy to have you on so many levels and get to know more about your thinking and sharing it with everybody as I know it. All right. Thanks, Nan.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited and I can't wait for our next beach walk.
That's great. Yep, me too. Beach walk next week. Bye now.
Bye.